That's Chalcedony, that one. It is round so you can see better. That's when it's cut from the rough. Okay, that gives you a good indication. Okay. I'm so excited this morning. The white one is the white Chalcedony. You can see how the color comes out after it's been cut, stripped from the material. The black onyx is currently one of the most expensive stones discovered in South Africa. Yet, we've discovered a more improved version now at Mankweng. Not onyx, but a dolerite. Okay, those are only two stones that we're talking about now. Okay, so those are only the two. Then, of course, we've got the other for the housing development is granite deposits. In future, we'll be manufacturing brick granite. That one and this one is also a granite deposit. When the Chalcedony is cut, it looks like this. Cut and polished, then it looks like this. These are a few pieces that's already been cut, but not yet polished yet. The other one is also a very rare stone that we discovered here. It's basically also very fine, like a very, very delicate Chalcedony. This is just a piece that we do an insert, and kitchen tops in future will have a pink insert into the material. In other words, the boundary of the material, this is now very rough, but the boundary of the material of the kitchen top will have a pink insert, a white or pink insert in the material. This is also a black dolerite, but not quite as beautiful as the previous one we discovered recently. That has still got spots, impurity in the material. The most important development, the most important discovery now is absolutely amazing. As you could see in the cross, St. Christopher cross going to the Roman Catholic Vatican. People call me Professore. In Italiano, I'm Professore Moldrini Mulder. Professore and Moldrini came from Mama's distinction. But in South Africa, they call me plain Jacobo. So here as Jacobo, not Jacob. Jacob is classified as a donkey in our language. So we say, grazie tutti, signore, signorinas, ciao bello, grazie. The young lady sitting over here, her name is Johanna. She is actually the creator of all the pieces, of all the photo images that we saw earlier. Johanna has distinctly worked day and night. She is extremely determined to fulfill her obligations. Right now she's sitting in front of the machine where she's busy testing a piece of material for the quality to see if it will be utilized in the near future. Unfortunately, Johanna could not yet proceed with the training program due to the fact that we have still not got the Premier's participation and his blessing on this development plan. The machine is a straightforward drilling machine combined also with a gearbox from an old angle grinder, and it gives us absolute perfect in finished products. These are pieces that's already been developed up to now. Okay, Joanna, where's the other samples? This is future irrigation department. These crosses are St. Christopher crosses. And then the other pieces, where the jewelry pieces, Joanna, we're busy. with a chain there. I would like you to put emphasis on this one here. This piece here is specifically for education department. So jewellery piece, this one.
Yeah.
But I would like to put a flower with it quickly. It's right here. Hang on. Give me a minute. Give me a sec. It's right here. Marketing strategy. With a little pink flower. That's actually a riddle. Nobody has ever identified this specific little flower. This is specifically for world export market. And currently we are looking at we've got a letter of intent from Mr. Giovanangeli, Italy, 1 billion trophies. No. Okay. 1 billion trophies for the world market. Bear in mind, trophies are a token of appreciation towards a child's performances. And for that reason, we would like to introduce or reintroduce this development back here in South Africa. It's got a psychological impact on the child's mind, and we do believe this will improve the standard of the child's educational program. How?
Yeah.
Job creation.
Everything
has got to be manufactured by hand. Bear in mind, this is not machine manufactured. And the secret behind the whole thing, I discovered the minerals here and I declared it as the people's own. For that reason, we don't want any intervention. It's all self-funding projects. And that is the reason I look like I am at the moment, because I've dedicated me to job creation, to the people of South Africa. If you consider the letter of intent received from Mr. Giovanangeli, after he evaluated the samples, we're looking at 1 billion future Prestige Winners Awards and about 700 million St. Christopher Crosses, specifically aimed for the Roman Catholic Vatican. Bear in mind, the Pope recommends all Christians, irrespective of their religions, to wear a St. Christopher Cross. Thank you very kindly. Unfortunately, at this point of time, we are rather very, very disappointed. We had very little response from government. Various documentation was sent to the Premier with the Department of Mineral Resources, and we are rather very, very desperate. Yet, the doors are open in Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. So should we have any further problems, then we should consider to do similar developments abroad. With reference to the white pink chalcedony, it's the only deposit ever discovered in South Africa, where the value of the mineral is in the region, should we export it raw, approximately $3,000 per ton. Yet, we want to utilize the material locally for local beneficiation and then consider on value addition benefits. For that reason, we look at the vast export market potential. Never before, as we do all realize, do we actually focus on mineral beneficiation to such a large extent as what we are doing at the moment. Unfortunately, and I repeat myself, we are rather a little bit disappointed, or rather very extremely disappointed. Certain documentation that's related to this vast new development was previously sent to the Premier, and yet to date had no response at all. This document was sent to the Premier about a year ago. 1 year ago, there afterwards, follow-up documentation. I went personally to the Premier's office, and yet unfortunately the Chief of Staff could not accommodate me, but he actually took possession of certain copies of the development, yet up to date we received no response at all from the Premier's office. Absolutely. Obviously, if you look at me, I don't think I make a good impression. And maybe because of my white skin, the white color, people are under the impression that I want to steal their minerals. That is not true. I'm a born South African but became an Italian citizen. And for that reason, I came back specifically to come and help the poor communities in South Africa. The machinery we import from Italy is coming from a company, Itilco for Stone. The gentleman I've been working since 1983. He's been my inspiration. All the years been backing up and following up on our discoveries. Yet he also sent certain documentation personally to the Premier, personal to the President. Certain documentation went to our President Jacob Zuma. And yet, very disappointedly, we received a response. Your request for help. Very sad. We don't need help. We need help for the community. We need help for people to put them in a position where they can become self-sufficient and not dependent on government grants. So that is basically a rather very, very important statement they're making here. And we would like to announce to the media that please assist us in our mission to get it off the ground. As you could see, I'm already a senior citizen, and yet I'm still prepared to push through, provided we've got government participation. Thank you. And I just want to repeat that we are not here to drain our economy. All these products that we see here now are rather large export commodities to go export market. And attached to this is also the development or attached letters of intent from the various market potentials. Billion trophies. The next document is Itilco for Stone.
Okay.
Mr. Paolo Giovanangeli is a top mineralogist known through the global world. The second document is a document where they anticipated to purchase the entire production. Now, the entire production of the deposit is worth more than 6 billion rand. But that's raw mineral. But yet, should we consider merely the 1 billion trophies, then we focus on 100 times the value of
This
the
is
$6
what we
billion.
created.
That specific little document is aimed for the improvement of children's standards. That one showed the value of the pink ship. That is an imitation manufactured by Johanna, and actually at the end of the day a better. These are the trophies. Those are all trophies. The St. Christopher Cross photo that we are viewing here is one specifically designed and decorated with a touch of gold, 6,000 rand. Future onyx belts utilizing Nguni leather will be also exporting to Pierre Cardin, fashion house in Italy. The deposit is discovered within 2 kilometers from where we're having the interview right here now. And we can do a close-up view, I believe, if we go over here. my lounge that still needs a floor and a roof, then we can actually see the deposit. If you go over there, the deposit is the white little line, approximately 2 kilometers from here, just below the mountain range in the very far end. That little white line there with a tree in the center on the top. The deposit was discovered. There are other deposits, but the mineral is not matured yet. There are certain other deposits, but not quite matured as this specific one here. This is actually classified as the biggest deposit ever discovered in the global world. And as we could say, as we mentioned before, the value is in the region of about 3,000 American dollars per ton raw exports. Naturally, we were very excited once we received the tribal resolution to proceed with prospecting. And during our prospecting period, as mentioned earlier, we also now discovered the gold specks into the mineral. But this is a clear indication of Chief Richard Mamabolo's participation as to proceed with the development. Yet, unfortunately, it's claimed that there is another chief that's actually basically the key role player. And for that reason, it seems like we're a little bit confused and so seriously delayed the future development of the project. Those are also signed the various councillors who physically signed the tribal resolution. 38 members in total signed the resolution and is also endorsed by government stamp as far as we understood. Yet, unfortunately, believe that the document is null and void, as it's not the legal, officially appointed chief. And for that reason, we had no response from government on inquiries to find out what is the next move, what is the next step to start initiating the development. In this regard, very, very important to get media announcement, specifically for the community to assist and motivate and guide us to the right direction. Bear in mind, this entire development is a 5-point development plan. We're also planning to build approximately 50,000 new homes, granite homes. The granite homes entail specifically a new version, what we call a new generation RDP home, all built in granite, solid granite as the samples displayed before, but with the added advantage that the 2 additional bachelor flats will now allocate the old people. Absa, Barclays Bank are rather very, very keen now to fund and assist government in the erection of all granite maintenance-free houses as per photo images. Here also we can view it's a different RDP home altogether, but yet it becomes self-sustainable, self-sufficient and self-funding due to the 2 bachelor flats that will be allocated to certain of the workers and people who's working or be involved in the Earthlink development plan. Earthlink is the company who discovered in 2003 in forces with Graphitalia, when we first started the granite development approximately 15 kilometers from Mankweng. And yet that has led us to the actual Chalcedony deposit. And very fortunate, Mr. Alex, the man I'm staying with currently here, Mr. Alex, at that point of time, brought the samples into me, and he played a major role in the future development of the Mankweng Mineral Beneficiation Development Plan.
This is number 1.
Now when it's polished,
When it's finished, it's like this. If it's polished with number 6, from number 1 up to number 6, which is this one, number 6, we mix the white powder with water.
Okay.
Just do like this. And then you put it here. But it won't be
So this is how it looks.
Yeah, this is when we are finished. And then this side is still raw.
Okay.
You will start from number 1, 2, 3, 4 up to number 6. And then this one is number 6. We mix with this polish and then it becomes like this.
Okay. So, how old are you, Jonah?
27 years old.
27 years old.
Yes.
But unemployed.
Yes.
But you can craft this thing with your hands.
Yes.
If ever they give you the chance for you to have, if ever the government helps you to take this through, will you be able to also assist
I
other
can
youth
do
members
this.
to do this on themselves and
Yes.
sell it?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you, Jonah.
Thank you.
Prof, how many jobs can they be created through this?
if you consider this is a common-made machine, it is just made specifically for the purpose of training.
Yeah.
And if you consider that we are facing an order of 1 billion trophies in the near future that is exporting throughout the global world, then of course we are looking at machines like this. Every individual subcontractor, we are not employing people. Johanna trained them. From here on they become subcontractors. But eventually we could visualize we're looking at up to 300,000 job opportunities. Consider 1 billion trophies alone, excluding all other commodities that we're manufacturing, excluding the St. Christopher crosses for the Roman Catholic Vatican. That's also, imagine, approximately another 100,000 job opportunities. Remember, our products are unique, one of its kind, due to the rare minerals we're utilizing.
Will those 100,000 jobs be created only in this area or maybe across the whole province, the Limpopo province?
That is absolutely very important. We have done already sufficient training in certain other areas, and the other areas immediately in line now is the Northern Cape province, where we discovered the black onyx, which is Petrusville. Then there afterwards a commitment to Vembe jurisdiction, Mulima was also a director in the company. That's the second development. From there onwards, we're moving to Sekhukhune. We will start a new development similar to this development. But I just want to add that development entails is totally sufficient material that can accommodate the people that we have just quoted earlier on. So basically, should we also utilize some material for bridging capital, as we do understand our government facing a serious crisis, And therefore I repeat what I mentioned earlier on. All these developments are self-sufficient developments. That includes the housing development, which is the granite roads development, the new burial development, and also agricultural development. In the back right here, you will see where we're experimenting with maize. You know, basically it's still winter, but we've succeeded already in our mission by starting. We'll just take one close up. As you could see, the agricultural development will also become a rather very important development. These are maize, but we're working a different structure, and we're also utilizing maize cultivating 3 times a year. Basically, we are not focusing on water or rain as much, because every little plant is fed artificially, grown artificially.
And now it's August and the maize is already like this.
Yes.
Already grown to this size. Okay. So Prof, will these jobs be permanent jobs or will they just be temporary jobs?
Oh, surely, no, these are sustainable employment potentials. We could imagine the market demand will increase tremendously once we've actually support Mr. Giovanangeli in his marketing strategy. So this is merely the beginning of the development. I want to repeat what I said earlier on. If we visualize that this development would eventually compete with Anglo-America, if you consider the vast job opportunities and you consider that this is entirely for government beneficiation and support of the community, then naturally we envisage an escalation figure of about 15 to 17% per year increasing in production. And this never-ending development until or unless somebody else made a discovery and duplicate my mission. But bear in mind, very difficult to duplicate my objective, as we focus mainly on job creation and stimulation of our economy in South Africa.